podcast live here on YouTube. Myself, George Brett's connoisseur and best friend of George Brett and Royals collector. Big Shep, what's going on, everybody, tonight? As always, we're a podcast for collectors by collectors, and hopefully we're going to bring you a smart and insightful podcast tonight and discussing trading cards. As always, we're live every Wednesday night here on YouTube at 8 p.m. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available on iTunes, and we're working on Stitcher. There's an issue there, but we're working on that, and soon to be on the Google Play Store. And you also, if you can subscribe and review on all those platforms and let us know how we're doing, we definitely appreciate it. And we missed last week. We missed all of you guys. We celebrated the 4th of July holidays with our family and friends, but we're glad to be back with you and to cover some awesome hobby topics and, as always, share our thoughts and musings on what's happened in the past 2 weeks. And let's hop right into it, fellas. How are you guys doing tonight?
Just another night. Let's do it.
Yeah. You ready, Ben? You got some hot takes tonight, Ben?
Tell you what, man, 2 weeks. We should have done something last week.
Yeah, we could have. We should have worked it in. Ben and I should have done. We maybe should have done it Saturday when we went down to the LCS. Ben and I made a little road trip together, and about an hour and a half from home, we went down to a card shop owned by another the guy that owns the LCS up here that we go to, and we get there, and Ben forgot something pretty important. We go card shopping an hour and a half from your house.
I pulled cash out. I was ready to go. And I told Tim, I said, if you're driving and you're using your gas, I'll buy you breakfast. We get to the restaurant. I go to pull out my wallet, and it's not there. And I will tell you, I am extremely OCD about that. And luckily, my best friend is like, I got you. And I'm like, I can't believe, I did this. And my wife's like, you want me to bring it down to Modesto? And I'm like, no, I don't want you knowing how much cash is in there. I don't want you knowing what my budget was. And she's like, what would have happened if you would have ran out of cash? I was like, well, I got the ATM card then.
We did a pretty good job. I don't think we blew any budgets there or, we're going to miss any bill payments from what we spent, but we did wipe out a pretty good section. I came home with a big stack of Buster Posey cards and a bunch of singles and autographs and even a couple surprises for Steph that we have. So, I'll have to bring those out here later and show those. But let's get into it, fellas. The week that was, yeah.
Just real quick, when we walked into the card shop, I felt like Maurice from Little Monsters, where he sees the baseball cards on the wall, because Tim and I are in there like, got it, need it, got it, need it, take it. And the guy's head was on a swivel.
That guy. Yeah, we went through the first case, and I just pointed, and I was like, I want this one, pull this one, I'll take this one, and take that stack. Let me look at those. Yeah, just keep them there. We're gonna go down here and hit these dollar boxes, and I'm pretty sure we smashed through those boxes pretty good. And we actually met one of our other collectors we'd never met before in person, Brian Bice at Bice Music, right? Is that his?
Yeah, BICE Music.
Yeah.
He's
great guy,
collector and a local collector. Really good guy. He actually had a couple surprises for us.
Yeah, that was cool.
Ricky Henderson and an A's team set, and he had some old Donruss cards for Tim. So really good collector. So if you're out there listening, definitely give him a follow. He's a good guy in the hobby.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases, and as you guys know, we've really come to embrace Topps Living, and it's one of our favorite things and one of my favorite things to share with you and go through. So going back 2 weeks, the week of the last week of June 27th through the July 3rd, we had Hank Aaron, Jordan Hicks, and Kevin Pillar, and we talked about Hank Aaron and the number of cards we thought he'd put out. And I think, Ben, you said he'd be somewhere in the 15,000 range, and then you kind of dropped it to like around 12 once you remember what we came up with where Jackie was. Hank actually sold a little over 11,000 cards this week. Jordan Hicks, the rookie from the Cardinals, sold just under a shade under 6,100, and Kevin Pillar sold 5,500 cards. I was really interested though to see that Hank didn't even crack 12,000.
Yeah, I think with the legends and some of the veterans, and I know we'll get into this week's release, the headliner of this week. I know you'll mention that in just a few moments. I think the 10 to 12, 13,000 range, you guys can differ if you'd like. I think that's probably for the most part going to be about the spot for the headliner with The secondary card's probably selling for about 5,000-6,000 a piece on the print run. And then when you get the Juan Sotos or the Torreses, one of the big rookies is when we're going to see the 30,000-40,000 print run. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, that's right around the good price and the range that they've been selling at. I mean, you're going to have your collectors that just want the veterans just because of the – I mean, Hanker, and yeah, he wasn't in the 53 set, and I was kind of curious where he'd end up myself. But you're going to have collectors just buying it for the veterans versus – I mean, yeah, the rookies are going to get a push, but I was curious to see where that ended up too.
Yeah, and then the week after last week, so that just ended early this morning, but July 4th through the 10th, we had Miguel Andujar, the rookie, from the Yankees, Noah Syndergaard, and Austin Hedges, and Andujar finished just under 13,000 cards out. Noah Syndergaard just over 6,100, and Hedges was at 5,300. And so again, not a big change there. I thought Syndergaard might have more than 6,000. I kind of want to see where he competes with somebody that's coming out this week. So the total print run of all the Topps living cards up to now, we're a little over 440,000. In the last 2 weeks, we've added 47,000 cards to it, with a retail income at $7.99 a card. So we're looking about $3.5 million, and so that's just an estimate of where they've put out so far. And we'll cover the 3 cards that are coming out here in a few minutes. But there are 3 new cards that got released this week. And you know what I want to say, just a little sneak preview. I think it might be the 3 best card set we've had since we started doing the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that. Also, too, we had the Topps Factory Complete Set Series 1 and 2 launched. You can pick those up for about $48 via Blowout. You're getting the 700 card base set. There are some variations, and I thought was really interesting. And we talked about like the short prints of Torres and Acuna, and if they would ever be in the factory set. And guess what? They are. There's factory variations in the set for you. So you're gonna have 2 cards, $6.98, and 2 cards at $6.99. Those are all the factory sets. And then the retail sets are gonna have, and it's a mixture of I think it was a mixture of these guys: Clint Frazier, Rafael Devers, Ahmed Rosario, Reese Hoskins, all Series 1 cards, and then of course Shohei. Shohei makes an appearance with a variation again in the retail sets. So if you buy one from your hobby store, you're only going to get the Acuna and Torres. But if you buy a retail version at a Target or Walmart, you'll see the other guys. What are your thoughts on this? I was a little frustrated with the fact that if there were short prints in the hobby, then they shouldn't have been. If there are photo variations and short prints in the hobby, they shouldn't have been in the factory set, right?
It's another issue where the Bryce Harper and name escapes me at the moment. The other player that they did that 661, Darvish maybe, where they listed it as a short print at the very, very end of the set, and then in the factory set they released its separate image variation. It's not my favorite thing that Topps does, but it's what they do. For those that want to collect, the factory set might be the rarer version. I mean, with the short prints, I mean, yeah, the factory sets are going to be a little bit more widely available, and that you don't have to hunt them down as much. But how many people actually buy the factory set, and how many get returned?
Exactly, because now you're going to have people chasing the factory sets. I mean, it's really brilliant marketing on behalf of Topps, because you're going to have contingencies that are going to go after those short prints. Therefore, they're going to buy a factory set despite already having a hand collated set from Series 1 and Series 2, just because you're after those. And I really wish they would go back to the Target and Walmart exclusives that they had a few years ago, where you would get like a Mickey Mantle or a Babe Ruth relic or special card in there. I thought those were fantastic. And I don't know if they did it because there was theft. I saw a few at Target locally that had been broken into, specifically to try to get those retail exclusives out. So I don't know if that played into it at all, but I'd rather them go back to having something along those lines to drive additional sales. But I can't fault Topps for putting them in there, even though I agree, Tim, I don't think that they should. You know, if you're looking at playing devil's advocate, if I was in that boardroom and I was making that decision, absolutely, I would have too.
Oh no, definitely. And I mean, I get it. And I'm gonna like I've talked about, I have a new son, and I've been putting boxes of hobby away for him, and I'm gonna put a factory set, but I was gonna buy a hobby one. And now looking at this, I might go retail and buy a retail one and stash it away with these other guys in there.
On YouTube, Jenny hit me with the assist. It's Strasbourg.
Oh yeah,
factory set. I was trying to think.
Yeah. The great Ginny Miller, by the way. If you guys are out there, I know she's selling cards right now, and she was doing some trades for supplies. She does a lot of charity work, and that's what those proceeds go to. And real good value. Also, if you're looking to trade, she's a big Sano collector. She's looking to go after Sano, and she collects the twins for some reason. She's confused, I guess. But but no, someone great on Twitter, Ginny Miller. Ginny Miller is at 521. So great follow there. Super great gal. So great to have her in the hobby. And the other thing that came out that, gosh, I've been just buying up left and right with my millions here. 2018 Topps Definitive. It came out last week at about $1,100 a pack. I mean, a box pack. You're getting 8 cards. Each box break's going to get you 6 autos or relics, auto relics, or 2, and then 2 premium relics. I watched a bunch of breaks of this. It's cool. The packaging is amazing this year from before. It comes in a nice case with padding, so the cards aren't getting dinged and chipped like they had before. They have 11 auto sets, and then also 4 relic sets. My favorite couple of auto sets were the cut signatures they have. Some guys are no longer with us. They have some patch books that are dual that are amazing and gorgeous. Some framed autos. They also, in the relics, out of the couple, they have a nameplate one, and then a helmet collection, which are cool. Expensive stuff if you can afford it. It's all killer, no filler. And the only way I'm ever going to see it is in breaks. But did you guys check any of these out?
Yeah, I actually was just watching one while I was having dinner with the family a little bit ago. I passed on the opportunity to get a dual auto of Fingers and Eckersley, numbered out of 10. The thing with the numbered out of 10 is it has the green parallel on it. So as an A's fan, it adds a little more incentive. It ended up selling for $70 shipped, which is a little bit more than even numbered out of 10. You're buying it because it's definitive. They do have 2 of the most gorgeous autos. They're Wally Fingers and Dennis Eckersley right out their entire name. There's a lot of players, Andre Dawson, Dale Murphy, who we were talking about prior to the show starting. They just have very gorgeous autos. But my thought is, an Eckersley auto typically sells for about $16 to $20. A Raleigh Fingers is $12 to $15. So is there an incentive to buying one in a secondary market just because they're both on the card together? Although it was a beautiful card, to me, definitive is I'm not that impressed overall for the price point. I mean, if it was a $200 or $300 box and you're getting 6 autos, if it was more along the lines of Triple Threads and Museum, I could see it. Side by side, if you put definitive up against one of those, I don't see why it's a 500% markup. I'm sure there's other stuff on the checklist that warrants it, so to speak, but for the average common hobbyist, and up against some of the higher end products like National Treasures, I don't think definitive is the strongest product. At least that's my opinion.
Well, it's for those guys that are they're out there getting, they collect they buy Transcendent. It's the guys that have the big pockets, that want the big wow. They're all boom or bust, and that's how it is. And it's one of those things like that later on. I feel like a few of these are going to come down in price on some of the autos. Like you said, like you can buy an Eck auto for $16-$20 here on a different product. It's the same autograph, just on a different named card, but it's the same guy. And so I think it all comes down to how you want to collect. Bowman Platinum came out 2 weeks ago. We talked about that, and it started showing up, I think, right as we did our show 2 weeks ago. It's Walmart's only. You have the collector's boxes, which are 20 packs. You're guaranteed 2 autos. They have the blaster, and then they have the fat packs. So those are out there. I know, Ben, you picked up some last Friday, and they ended up in my hands on Saturday. So I do appreciate that. There was a nice Acuna variation in there. But what did you think opening it up?
Yeah, let's talk about that trade real quick. Tim was nice enough. I was putting together my birth year set, 1979 tops. I had
mine too, by the way. That's why I have them.
And I gave him my checklist right before we went to the hobby shops on Saturday. And he hooked me up with about 125 cards for my checklist, which cut my needs in just about half. The night before, I had stopped at Walmart, and they did have they were out of the mega boxes, which sell for $80 at retail, where you're guaranteed 2 autos. They had a full boatload of blasters, and I told my wife, hey, why not get one? We'll open up a few packs. I hope to pick up a couple of the A's out of the packs, and that way I don't have to pick them up on the secondary market. And, once in a while, even though I'm very critical of no value in boxes, once in a while I get that itch. I love to open packs as much as the next guy. And, it was a decent open. It's kind of a retro look. I think if it was an insert set, like on Bowman Chrome, I think it'd be fantastic. As a standalone, I don't see it being all that great. I know Bowman Platinum was kind of discontinued a couple years ago, and then it was brought back either last year or the year before as a retail only. And they seem to drop it like all of a sudden, oh, hey, Bowman Platinum's coming out next week. And it kind of catches everybody off guard. Overall, it was okay. I did pull the Acuna out of 250. The reason that they all ended up in your hands is I figured, hey, it was a $20 box. I pulled one Chris Davis. That was my only Oakland A. And I gave you all the cards in exchange for the stack of 79s. And, I went ahead and picked up all the rest of the A's on the secondary market. They're starting to trickle in, and they're an okay product. I mean, if you're on the fence about it, I'd probably save my money for something else, honestly. If you're a completionist, then, of course, you're going to have to get them. But overall, I don't really see a good return on whatever money you put out, whether it's, $10 for a pack, $20 for a blaster, $20 or $80 for a mega box.
Yeah. Right. I know that last year, especially, everyone was going nuts with the rookie craze. This year, you have Acuna and you have Torres. Thank you. I went looking. I couldn't find any because me and the wife had our second anniversary on the 9th here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we ended up buying a few packs of Stadium Club, which I pulled the Hoskins rookie. So
nice.
That's something.
Nice. Now that you have it in your hands, what do you think?
It's a set that I've broken in the past, and if I find one, I'll break it. But I'll probably end up picking the twin set up off eBay.
Yeah, we have a good question here from Jenny in the chat. She wants to know our thoughts on Bowman Platinum base sets that right now are listed for $80 to $130 on eBay. That's crazy, right?
Absolutely.
For Bowman Platinum?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's probably because these guys bought the boxes on the secondary market and they spent, they spent $40 on a blaster, on a $20 blaster to build the set. So,
it's not really, and I know Jenny's, just from having some conversations with her, she's kind of questioning the direction of her personal collection, where she wants to go. Does she want to be a Topps set collector, a team set collector? Right now, the hot thing is everybody's trying to get 1 million cards of a particular team, and it's good to try to start to find your direction. I think we talked about this before, where sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years in the hobby to kind of shift between. I was doing this for a while, now I'm doing this, and I don't know if Bowman Platinum is all that collectible. It doesn't seem like it would be that fun of a set to piece together. And as far as dropping $80 or $100, again, there's always that associated cost and that value. Could you take that money and place it elsewhere? That's kind of what I would do with the Definitive Fingers Eck Auto. Mm-hmm. The Eckersley standalone auto from Definitive has the 1989 World Series logo behind it. To me, I'd rather spend a fraction of that, maybe $30, and get that. I think it would be a better card for my personal collection. I think for anybody, Jenny specifically, if you have $100 to spend, I personally might direct that towards something else,
Well, I'd buy a 78 top set for $100.
Absolutely, all day long. But hey,
yeah, so
I think that's high. I mean, honestly, I think that's high. It's probably a $40 to $50 set.
Yeah. And the reason being, is it was expensive to acquire the product because it was all retail and there's nobody that was able to get it at a wholesale price. or if they are, God, let's not bring up the blasters in retail and the hobby stops. So to acquire a full set's going to cost you some cash. I want to move on to hot off the presses, the new releases for this week, and now we're going to get back to Topps Living for the week. So if you guys, these just got released today, about noon Pacific Standard Time here. Number 52, one of my favorite pitchers in the league, Max Scherzer. Card is awesome, and by the way, they have his brown and his blue eye. It looks legit if you've not seen it.
Fantastic card.
This is the card I want to see if it sells more than Syndergaard. I feel like this Scherzer card, I haven't bought it yet. I'm thinking about it, but I believe this card could hit 10,000 cards. But pitchers aren't as collectible as hitters, and we know that.
But it is the headliner.
Yes.
It is the headliner where Andahar was last week. But Syndergaard was secondary, so Scherzer's who they're putting as that number one card. But
I'm not sure Scherzer is going to be the top seller this week because we have number 50, card 53, Walker Buehler of the Los Angeles Dodgers, rookie pitcher. And then card number 54, Mitch Haniger, outfielder, Seattle Mariners. I have a feeling Haniger, for whatever reason, is going to do some damage here, and he's going to hit 8,000 or 9,000.
I would have said about 7, 8. I think Scherzer, if you haven't seen that card, the first thing that popped out was the eyes. I thought that was great. It's a great picture of his face. Just the artwork is phenomenal on the Scherzer. I don't know if any of these three cards crack, five digits. I think they all start to get into that 5 to 10. I think this might be one of the weaker groups, but I could be wrong.
No, I think overall, total cards sold with the 3 is going to be one of the higher weeks. We're just not going to have a top 5 or top 10 number card out of here where one of these guys takes off. I think they're all going to be very solid cards, this week, but we're not going to have somebody that's going to be in that top handful.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of agreeing with you guys. I think maybe the highest is going to be about 8,000, but they're all going to be in that 5 to 8 range. And it's definitely, like you said, our strongest since we started broadcasting.
Yeah,
it's a solid group of 3, considering there's not a solid rookie and there's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, Scherzer eventually will be a Hall of Famer. I think we can all agree on that. But you don't already have that retired legend, and you don't have a highly sought after collectible rookie. So it'll be an interesting week to kind of see, because I think there's going to be more of these types of weeks in the long run. Then they'll be, having a Juan Soto or, an Ohtani or somebody headlining.
Yeah. And the next thing that came out, too, that Ben brought up to my attention was 2018 Topps Now All-Star Team sets are available. And these are all the voted All-Stars in this year's game and also the reserves. So there's a 9-card AL starter team set because they have the DH. And then they also then have a secondary set, which is a 25-card reserve set. The NL has their 8 All-Star starters and then their 25-card reserve set. The base set for the starters is $30, $29.99. The reserve set's $59.99, obviously because you're getting more cards, all available at Topps.com. And I also know there's some third-party sellers out there on eBay. If you have your favorite, go check them out. They might have them there.
Question real quick. Do we know? Okay, so for instance, as an A's fan, Blake Trinan was the only one that was voted not as a starter, but as part of the team. Now, my question is, because I have not researched this personally, is what about Gleyber Torres was the backup second baseman, but due to an injury, he's not going to participate. Now the A's have Jed Lowry. So who's part of the checklist? Do we know? Is it Torres?
It wasn't on there. Only the starters were. The reserves weren't listed when I last looked.
To know whether or not, as an A's fan, am I seeking a Jed Lowry one or not?
I would check with. We can check into that and report back next week. But yeah, that's an interesting question because the reserves weren't listed when I clicked on it and looked at it earlier today. But a starter, so we covered the base sets. The AL. I'm sorry. Let's start this. The NL starter set is offered an auto set, so you're going to get those 8 cards autographed by all the starters, including Bryce Harper. He's in there for $119.99. The AL starter set, which has one more card, is $199.99. But obviously, it's because you have just that outfield, you have Betts, Trout, and Judge all on that team.
Shit, sorry.
That's okay. And then they also offer the reserve sets for $100 a piece. So autographed. So pretty interesting. The starter set's only available until Tuesday. The reserve set goes until Wednesday. There's a day in between both of them. I know that I saw some of them on eBay already being pre-sold. But Steph, what are your thoughts on the Topps Now All-Star sets?
The last 2 years I've tried to do the actual Topps Now sets, but I've fallen off on the week-to-week sets. This set in particular, man, yeah, you got the rush of it being printed specifically for this, but what's the difference between this and the retail 9-card All-Star set that they release at the beginning of each year, outside of, well, it's available now? I mean, as a collector, I don't truly see the point. I mean, you have updates for this, right? Meh. However, they do have the subject list up for the reserves.
Do they? Okay.
Interestingly, they have to be determined listed as one of the players. So I don't think it's necessarily.
I think that's the extra guy I think that's the guy that's all over Twitter right now that all the teams are trying to get voted on.
Vote belt.
So you have the hashtag vote this guy, or I imagine that's who it is once that final decision is made. My big curiosity would be, and I know it's for personal reasons, is would Lowry get a card, or is Torres? I'm assuming Torres would be on the checklist. Lowry would not. I know that Sean Doolittle of the Nationals was replaced. So you're going to see over the next couple of days a few different players probably falling off the All-Star.
Wonder if they replace Posey since he's sitting out because of a sore hip, or Verlander doesn't want to play. So,
well, and plus you're going to probably have a couple of guys replaced because they're going to pitch the Sunday before. So I would imagine there might
God forbid these guys go out and throw to 2 batters during an All-Star game.
Right.
It's just interesting. I think it's kind of a cool deal if you're in there again. The only really watchable All-Star game is the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Hockey.
The NBA All-Star game. The hockey one's is pretty good, but I would say the best one is baseball. The Pro Bowl's terrible. The NBA All-Star game is garbage. It's worse than pickup basketball.
They still do the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, they do in Orlando the week before, and it's so stupid.
Which means none of the Super Bowl guys can play yet.
No one cares. No one cares. The other interesting thing that came out today was 2018 Topps Big League, geared towards the younger collectors, similar to like an opening day. You can pick up a box for around $43. 400-card base set. It's a very robust base set, and you have vets, rookie cards. There's some cool subsets built into there, like all-time great, Stat Kings, Bark in the Park, Bring Your Dog to the Park, inland ballpark landmarks, which I think are cool. Kind of teaches and lets kids see other parks and what's out there, statues. They have parallels, 1 per pack out of 100 out of 50. There's some subsets, Ministers of MASH, which I thought was a neat name. I love those. Players Weekend, where the players got to wear those cool jerseys, like Kyle Seager was one of my favorites. It's the brother of Corey. Everybody knew Corey Seager, but didn't know All-Star Kyle Seager. Then they have the star caricatures. And those are awesome because they remind us, and we talked about this earlier, the 91 score cartoon cards of the All-Stars. I thought those were great. All 3 of those subsets have 30 cards apiece. They have autographs. They're very limited. You have big league autos and rookie Republic autos. I've seen some of this stuff. It looks good. I did buy my 2 team sets because, I got found a good price on them. Always a Brent and Becca. And I'm interested to get them in my hands and see. It's probably all I'm going to buy. I'm not going to go buy any packs or a box. But what do you guys think of them having another lower-end kid-focused product? It's like opening day.
I know that at the National, and I know we'll be covering that coming up here, but I know at the National this gets brought up every year because naturally you have collectors that are worried about, what sets do I get my daughter, or what sets do I get my kid, when everything's all $100 box, $100 box, 200 museum collection, $300 box. And although I think this set is replacing Topps Bunt, I like the look and the design of this product, and the format. So you got like the 400 card base set. I think there's like 2 or 3 inserts and like a very limited auto set. This is obviously aimed at kids, and I like the idea of it. The parity between the teams can be a bit better, but that's just me being a stickler. So, and it looks like I said, I mean, even I would buy out just pack at a time. It seems like a fun set to try to build.
A couple of things that we've all kind of noticed having a big presence on Twitter. Brent Williams of Brent and Becca says he absolutely loves the card stock. So I haven't held them yet, of course. I like Tim, ordered my team sets from Brent. He says that he's really impressed with the overall look. He was also impressed for it being a set that's geared towards a younger audience. The Players Weekend image variations seem to be following 1 every 3 packs. So if you buy a box, you're going to get, half dozen, maybe 8 of them, which is nice. Much like Donruss earlier this year with the name variation. There's been a lot of chatter amongst the older crowd that some of the errors and parallels are unnecessary, and you're going to get that divide of expectation. You really have to collect this set, understanding that, much like Stefan said, if it's replacing Topps Bunt, that's unfortunate because I loved Topps Bunt last year, the first year of the physical cards. I thought they were great. The parallel sets were phenomenal. When you look at Big League Baseball, you're going to have to know, hey, it's geared towards a 10-year-old and all of us. Yeah. So understand that you're not going to get the hits. It's more of a set collector. You're going to have to buy 2 boxes at least to get a base set. With 400 base cards, I think you only get 240 in a box, not including the inserts that are going to probably knock that down a little bit. But the caricature set is phenomenal. I think that's just a fun set. Some of the short prints where like Bryce Harper has a different colored armband is awesome.
I'm sorry, real quick. There was a tweet that just came through from Bean's ball card blog, a Brent and Beck reference on about the cards. Everybody take a shot.
Drink up. By the end of the night, we would all be drunk if
That's true.
Sorry, Brent's the silent 4th guy that never gets to get on. There you go. So, we all lean towards Brent because he's on top of things. He's one of the biggest breakers and he's got such an active presence, and he's an all-around knowledgeable person. So if you have questions, he's your go-to guy. Most of us buy our team sets from him and inserts, and he gets reasonable prices.
Well, when he's opening up so much product, he's getting a lot better view of it than most people.
Sure.
And so he's always he gets it a little early, and he's not selling it early, but he gets it early and he opens it because he's got to go through so much stuff. And it's always kind of good to get a feel of what it's like and what to look for, and it helps everybody get a little bit more educated on the product and maybe where to put their dollars when the weekend comes up when they hit that local LCS, right? So always a good one. Next thing that came out this week, and I did watch some box breaks of this, which is Topps Archive Signatures, and I think it's called Active Player Edition.
It's the weird one comes out in a couple months.
Yeah, $50 a box, 1 pack, 1 card. It's in a magnetic. It's been foil stamped. It's an one encased buyback auto is what they call it. Topps buys back previous release cards and it has them autographed. And I watched some of this stuff today. A lot of it, I watched a case of it, and I want to say a good half were some Bowman cards autographed. I saw the postseason, I think is what they had last year, and the vets or the retired guys, and there's some new things in there. To me, it looks like someone took their TTM collection and is recirculating them and selling them. You get the top stamp on there, which hey, Top certified the autograph and all this stuff, and it's in a one touch with their little sticker on top. But I don't know.
It was my thoughts exactly. I bought one last year. I think it was a Derek Norris for like $5. So your value of $39, $49 to get a Derek Norris, Topps Series 2 or update autograph. I think I bought it for like $5. My thought was exactly, did Topps go on to Sport Lots and just pick up a bunch of random 18-cent cards and then go sit at a local ballpark and have these guys sign them, and then after they signed them, they stamped them and encased them? It looks like an in-person collection. I understand that they were autographed by the players, and they're authentic. To me, it just looks like a throwaway set. Like, you guys are trying way, way too hard to make some money. This is not a product for me. I'm not going to buy any at all.
No, absolutely. It's not a set for me. I mean, there was a set that they did a few years back, similar idea, but it was retail, and they had a few veteran players, but also there was like one or two that had autos on them, retail. And I picked those up, but only because they were on deep discount, like 3 times over, with like layered of stickers on them. It's a better set than that, I'll say that much. But they would have to have that much better. It's kind of like a Panini did Hometown Heroes.
Yeah,
it's that lineup of players.
Or
if that's for you, hey, Merry Christmas. But
yeah, or if you saw what I'm sorry.
I'll say
yeah. No. And Panini did something similar with the football product. And the name just fell out of my head, but they did a buyback thing and had autos in it. And I know that they did that in Classic this year. It's all right. It's yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Also came out this week, 2018 Gold Standard Football. 160 box. You're getting 1 pack. You're getting 7 cards in that pack. You're going to get 1 rookie jersey auto numbered to 99 or less, and then 4 additional autographs or mem cards. The highlights in this, there's 60 rookie base cards out of 99, and then they go down. They have a platinum, rose gold, and black. There's also rookie autos and the different variations there. Rookie auto jerseys out of 99. They also have double and triple autographs down to 75, a prime autograph out of 25, some 101s, vet autos, gold strike, and gold scripts. Each of those are 99 or less. I think the gold scripts is 24 or less. Then they have low numbered black and platinum parallels. There's a memorabilia as well. Mother load, gold gear, a couple of them. I think they have like white gold is another one. I saw some box breaks of this today. I think it's some of it's a lot of the rookies are actually in their jerseys. So you had the Premier stuff. They're sticker autos because they're from the Premier. But it's early. There were some monsters. I saw the Saquon Barkley NFL Shield pulled today, 1 of 1 by Mojo Break. Amazing card. So everybody's like, oh, the product's dead, right? That's gonna be one of the hottest rookies this year. But some really good cards. Tons of like 1-on-1s were coming out. I think there was one per box almost. So it doesn't. I don't know if not exactly 1 per box, but I don't know if they didn't make very much of it, and that's why. I guess there's a big allocation on it, according to those guys over there. But some good looking cards. The relic cards always look really sharp, and you're getting a good selection of rookies and vets in there. And you're getting like Bo Scarborough I saw got pulled, and he was a 7th rounder by the Cowboys running back out of Alabama, and I don't know if he had any other autos previously, but he's in a Cowboys jersey, so it's pretty cool to see.
Anytime, there's that age-old argument about on-card versus sticker autos. For me, as a previous football card collector, getting an auto, even if it's a sticker auto, if it's their first one in a jersey, I think kind of offsets itself. To use a football reference, it's offsetting penalties. I'd rather take the sticker auto in a jersey than an on-card in a college uniform. There'll be plenty of products coming out in the upcoming months where you can get these guys not photoshopped in their actual, game pictures and whatnot on card. But to have this, especially in July, right before training camp drops, I think that's really important. And if you're a football fan, $160 isn't a bad box. I've seen Gold Standard broken myself. So it seems like it's good value. And just because the Barkley might not be in circulation anymore, I'm sure there's a ton of value left.
Oh yeah, all the quarterbacks that are in there.
And there's a lot this year, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of rookies to collect out of there. No, I mean, you're right. When you're pulling that many autographs, I mean, there were some vets that were coming out of there. So, I think it's one of those good early on products. For if you like autographs and relics and hits and stuff, it's made for you. I mean, that's what it is.
And I love that they're dropping a football set right before training camp, because now you're giving fans cards to bring to training camp. Absolutely. Of their latest absolute first card off the press.
Yeah.
To get signed.
It's awesome. So so we're going to get to what's brewing, the new releases for next week. Just 3. You have 2017-18 Panini Spectra basketball is coming out. So I think one of their last basketball releases, even though we've already had the NBA draft and free agency for 2018-19. 2018 Donruss Optic baseball comes out next week. And then 2018 Topps, Allen and Ginter. Everybody say it together. Allen and Ginter. I'm excited. Allen and Ginter is fun. It's a great one of the favorite products. We'll get into it next week. One of my favorite cards ever was Matthew Berry of ESPN Fantasy Football fame.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tie relic and an auto, and then I bought a bunch of the base cards and sent him a nice little letter last year. And he sent one. He kept 2 of the cards. He told him, said, "Hey, keep these." And he sent back one autographed. He even autographed the note that I sent him. So it's always a good collection of different things. The insert's a little weird this year. I think they tried a little harder than they didn't, too hard, I think. But we'll get into that next week. But
not a fan of the baseball card on one of the inserts. There's a baseball card insert of a baseball card.
Because it's related to the sport. Yep.
It's fantastic. We'll get into that next week, but
it's going to be fun. I love Allen and Ginter. Get into some breaks. It's a fun way.
But the problem, we'll talk about that next week. The problem with Ginter breaks is even though you get 3 hits in a box, a lot of them are relics.
I like the cards. I like the base designs. They're sharp. So let's get into Infield Chatter, our Hobby Top section. And we kind of wanted to reach back and we're going to talk a little bit about Topps Big League. Kind of got this sparked with me today. How do we get kids into the hobby? How do you get more kids into collecting? I know, like with products like Opening Day and the Big League collection that came out, and then Panini always in Contenders Football, they have the kid reporter that they take a kid down and they get to be a reporter for Panini at the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool every year. What are your guys' thoughts on, like, how do we do this? Because if we're the end of it, if Steph's the end of it and he's born in 1980, the late 1980s, and all of us are old men and we all croak off, then why are we wasting all of our money and time and collecting these cards now? And why don't I just use my Mike Trout rookie and start my fireplace this fall?
It's I'll kind of give you an overview. I know Panini absolutely, it's one of their huge things that they're trying to push. I did a tour of their facility a few years back, and talking with Tracy, he's super knowledgeable, and that was one of the things that he was talking about, because we talked about all the topics. But because we just got back from the National, and he said, that's one of the things with the kid reporter. We have multiple free packs given out to kids for grade projects and multiple incentives for kids to do better. The Topps, I know they have a huge presence at the National. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check out their Pack Wars. They do it like 2-3 times a day. Absolutely gets everyone in the building screaming Topps. It's one of those that nobody has an obvious solution, because it is kind of an older hobby, I will say. The price point does not help matters much. Maybe Big League will change that. Base sets like Donruss. But a point that I like that I saw brought up earlier, all of these sets that are aimed at kids, the Opening Day, they all have the veteran players as opposed to like the current top all-time stars. So like Mike Trout's in place of Hank Aaron. What's a kid want Hank Aaron for? Yeah, it's nice, but it's not Mike Trout. It's not their.
It's not a guy that they know. I mean, Their like legend is Derek Jeter. You know, and so my thing is how did we get into collecting? It was something that we saw a big boom back in the mid to late 80s. You know, all of the guys that you know, the collectors that were kids in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s had kids, and all of a sudden card collecting had a big boom in the late 80s, and then it died away from basically junk wax era. Everybody figured all this stuff was mass produced, and they kept reprinting cards over and over. And that story's been told a million times. And then all of us got to the point where we were old men and we were getting back into the hobby. Now all of a sudden there's another big boom, right? It's a whole nother conversation. But the kids today want to collect like the adults today. They want to collect the hits. They don't want base cards. They want autos. They want relics. And when the boxes are to start off to have that product are, you know, $75-$80 to start, and you're getting one little white patch relic, they're not going to get super excited. They want that Harper patch auto. They want the Trout, you know, they want the stuff that, you know, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I just, you know, it's one of those things is what can we do? You know, giveaways are fun. And I remember in grade school, Skybox 92, 93, we got a ton of that at my junior high. And the packs were hot because you had Shaq and the Shaq's rookie card. And teachers use those to bribe us all the time to do things, and end up with a couple boxes one day from a teacher for taking care of some things. And, you know, and it was awesome to open. Those were all donated by the company. But I don't know, like, how do you get around that? Like, you know, the digital cards, I don't think that panned out, right?
No, see, I was at a toy train show a couple of months ago. I was dropping my son off with my dad, and you know, he's in his mid-60s, and his hobby of choice was toy trains. In the 50s and 60s, that was a major transportation. You know, you could ride the train. Having the toy train, you know, running around the Christmas tree was an annual event for a lot of families. And when we got out of the car, I told my wife, I said, watch, most of the people in this building are going to be 60 and above. They're going to be in the retirement Social Security age. And you can see that hobby being dead in another 10, 15 years as these train societies cease to exist. It's not a hobby that's going to be sent down to our generation and subsequently the younger generation, which would be our children. And so the thing is, it's a good question. How do we preserve this hobby from having a similar fate to toy trains? And you're right, Tim. That was going to be my point is kids want the same thing that we want or that the hobby is gearing towards. And unfortunately, the hobby kind of split their own throat long term because the only way to get these people excited, you know, these children, is to give them the hits. That's what they're after. They want all the big names just like the majority of adult collectors. I don't think Big League Baseball and the Donrusses are going to be enough to get them excited. Is there a perfect solution? Not really. Not unless there's more and more products that are geared towards a younger crowd. You know, Big League Baseball is a good start because it's not very heavy on hits. You know, the majority of cards you're going to get are going to be photo variations, inserts. It's at a decent price point, not great, but decent. You know, opening day I think is around $30, $35 a box. But you know, again, you're also right. Is a lot of the veterans are going to have to start being the, you know, the Kurt Schillings, the Randy Johnsons, the Derek Jeters, maybe some of the guys that have retired over the last 10 or so years. You know, even the Bonds and Clemens era guys. It can't be our veterans and our Hall of Famers, which are the guys from the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
That's true. And the thing is that you know, when I started collecting, and I tried to do a little research on it, and there wasn't a lot out there. I mean, there was a story that Chris Olds had from a few years back about a 12 or 13-year-old collector. He kind of shared his story, and he was into journalism. And when he was younger, cards really started to help him read and understand stats and find out information about players. And I was like, bro, like that was me, man. Like I loved the back of the cards. And, you know, my friends and I would create teams we'd open packs and create a couple packs. We'd create a team and we made up a dice baseball game with them. And those are the guys you had. And Like Roger McDowell in that game was amazing. He was an all-star in our little made-up league and stuff. And I just don't see that as much anymore, as things are more digital. But, bunts out there, I don't think that's grasping the kids.
One thing that was really good, you may not, I don't know, Tim, if you ever remember going in the late 80s to the ballpark. This was a regional thing. So people on the East Coast may or may not be familiar with the Mother's Cookie sets. But throughout the 80s and on into, I think the last print run of the Oakland A's was 1998. The first one was 1984. What they would do is when you went to the ball game on Mother's Cookie Day, you got a pack of cards. With that pack of cards, there's a 28 card set. You had 18 cards towards your set, and then you got 10 duplicates of one player. So whether that was Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Tony La Russa, Will Clark, if you were at the Giants, Kevin Mitchell. And then the idea was you had to walk around the stands and trade, because if I got Mark McGwire, you may have got Jose Canseco, and I didn't get Jose Canseco in my 18. So I had to give you a McGwire for Canseco. And the idea was by going from seat to seat with other fans, you had to piece together your 28 card set. And I know they did the Mariners, the Giants, the A's, the Dodgers. I know that in the Mother's Cookie, I think they did a Nolan Ryan set one year that was actually released in the packs of cookies, which was a 4-card set, not 28. And then they did other players like Clark, Matt Williams, McGwire, Canseco, the Rookie of the Years, which included
Piazza and
Piazza, I think, had one. Ken Griffey had one.
Yeah,
there wasn't very many, and again, they were regional, and they were good cardstock, glossy, very similar to the Rob Broder photography of that era.
Yeah, and they had the rounded corners.
They did have rounded corners.
So, like, you couldn't really ding up the cards when you were trading them, and it came in a nice little paper pack, and all your cards fit in there. And I remember going to a couple A's games. They were playing the Royals. I don't know. My dad, we'd go to games. I didn't care who the crappy A's were playing, as long as I had to go to a baseball game. But no, we went a couple days on A's Mother's Cookie card. I think it was 91 and 92, because I think those are the two sets I have. And man, let me tell you, I took my dad, my mom, my sisters, and I was the one running around trading with everybody, making all kinds of friends. God, that was fun. But back in the day, relative inflation, all that stuff, a pack of Tops was 40, 60 cents, and Upper Deck was a whole dollar, maybe $1.50 at the time, right? And now a couple bucks a pack here and there. It's different. I mean, there's a lot more, I guess, kids have to do. But cards help me learn to read better and to understand things and to keep things nice and to put things, to collate stuff. I don't know. We're big nerds. We're talking about baseball cards on a Wednesday night.
Look at me. I've got a degree in finance, which is numbers related, and I recently sold a bunch of baseball cards, around 200,000 baseball cards, to a guy who's dating a school teacher, and he's like, my soon-to-be stepson is 7, and he goes, I want to teach him about numbers. And I said, listen, my educational and personal expertise and experience, I learned statistics at a very young age. Again, you're reading the back of baseball cards. It's a great way to learn numbers. And, we're all familiar with the big numbers, whether it be, 56 hits and a 56 game hitting streak, 714, 755, so on and so forth. And, it's a different era. I do think that I remember when packs went from 25 cents to 50 cents, it was like, oh my gosh, there's no way my dad's going to pop for an extra quarter. I couldn't imagine being in this era of asking my dad if I'm 10 years old for, $10, $15 jumbo pack. But then again, we're also predisposed to the cost being more expensive nowadays for a lot of things. My first telephone was a $15 landline, and now regularly people line up for days to get the new Apple iPhone, which costs you $800 for a cell phone. And I think the mentality of society in general is we will pay more because there's value in it. In other words, would I pay $160 for a hobby box? Well, if I'm getting 2 guaranteed autos and there's a potential in getting the associated value of potentially pulling a $500 card, so on and so forth, we convince ourselves that value is worth it to us.
Yeah.
And much like we were talking about Bowman Platinum earlier, is it worth $80 to $100? We unilaterally can't answer that. It has to be answered by the person making that purchase.
Yeah, and I just want to say is one of those things, like if you're somewhere at a card show, and kids are there outstanding, and something to encourage your LCS, and the kids are there, and you open some packs, and some guys don't want the base or the inserts. Give those cards to the kids. Let them have them. I know there's breakers that do stuff where they'll give you a cheap buy on a break, and they just send you all the parallels in the insert card, the autos or relics, the hits, and then the rest of the base cards that they turn around and they donate. There's some really good causes out there, but it's one of those things like we need to focus on and concentrate. I don't think there's a right answer, but it's just getting kids involved, and I think the more stuff that they get to see, sports fans will be there. Guys, I want to get into one of our final topic tonight. We've covered a lot of different things in this section of the show, but this is going to be called MailDay, recent PC additions, things, a box of cards that we picked up, a card, a set maybe we recently added. And I want to lead off. So, Benjamin, what's something new? And God, it's going to be age related. What's something new that you've added to your collection, in the last month or so?
I recently got a big MailDay package. If Beans is out there listening, get ready to take another shot because my package is brand and so I've been sorting through Finest in Series 2, because what he does is he holds on to them until you have 3 or 4 releases. For instance, I just bought Big League Baseball, but he's going to hold it till Ginter drops, and he'll ship it all together. Saves him money, saves me money. And Stadium Club came in, so I was excited about that. And I've been getting more and more of the Maguire parallels. So what was going to be just black and white, black foil, red foil, sepia, call it a day. All of a sudden, somebody pulls the photographer's SP, and then I get gold minted, and then you got to get the chrome refractor. So I've had these Maguires coming in from Stadium Club, which has been fun. And then I think my favorite MailDay item, if my wife does listen to this, Heather, earmuffs, okay? I got a stack of 50 1987 Maguires in, which I tweeted. The thing is,
she's on Twitter, right?
I do know, but listen, I got 43 more coming, and I got another 11 coming. And then when Tim gave me those 79s, he threw one in there, and then I've got a couple more coming. So here's the thing. I hope she's got earmuffs, or I'm doesn't understand why we need more than one. If you have one, I was arguing with my dad about this the other day. He goes, how many do you need? And I'm like, well, you need one for the set, you need one for the team set, you need one for the player binder. And he goes, no, the answer is you don't need any. Like me. And I'm like, Dad, you collect toy trains. He goes, well, I know I need them and you need them. He goes, I'm just saying, like, fatherly advice, we don't need them. So anyhow, I got my 50. I got 43 more. It puts me at about 169. Until the 43 more come, that'll shoot me over 200. And then the quest is, how do I get to
500,
400, 500? And then at what point do you stop?
No, you need to be at 2,500.
That's right.
He wore 25, so 2,500.
What about 25?
There you go.
So, and anybody out there listening, I'm actively looking to buy 1987 Fleer updates and 1987 Donruss and Leaf rookie cards of Maguire.
Are you looking for the Fleer glossy or the Fleer base?
Base, because the glossy is a little more expensive. I did pick up. It's not here yet, but I'm going to be excited. I did pick up the 1987 Topps Tiffany for $5. I don't have one of those yet, so I'll be excited once that comes. So
that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's not a bad price for $5. And I did pick up 2 Ricky Hendersons, low grade, the other day. 2 of them, $13.
Yeah, where did you get those? You wouldn't tell me on Twitter. Where did you get those? You eggplant.
This is our drug of choice. I'm not going to tell you where my drug dealer was.
Listen, you need to tell, because I need to get something. By the way, you didn't mention that 79 set and all those cards I gave you. One of the 125 cards was a George Brett from my collection. I pulled out of my George Brett box of my birth year, George Brett, and I put it in there for you so you'd have it. So you have the best card in the 79 top set you got from me.
I bought you breakfast for that, kind of. I mean, we talked about the wallet.
Blade.
You paid for it. I paid you back. So it's kind of, Plus, you got to spend all morning with me. You can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah, I mean, I did put some community service hours in. That's why we hung out.
Right.
Whatever you got to tell yourself, Ben.
What'd you get in the mail, Stefan? Is it in green and gold?
Green, one of them. Most recently, let me do this here. And then, Tim, if you'll just click my picture so it shows.
Are those the 78s?
81s, actually.
That was way off. I mean, it was same general.
Some rando named Tim posted these, and it's like, hey, I have these if anyone wants them. I'm like, well, I mean, I have the Landro and I have the Castino. The crew would be nice.
What are those specifically?
And then he's like, well, no, but these aren't cut.
No, but what are they for anybody not watching if they're just listening?
1981, Topps put out a set called the
Scratch Offs.
Thank you. Yeah. The theory being that if you got a certain combination, kind of like a lottery ticket, you would get the offer on the back. Mail in however many, and hey, maybe you win something. But with them being the uncut versions, I was expecting, the Landro and the Casino and maybe the Rod Carew. He sent me both sets, the American League, the National League, and a couple other cards as well. But in addition, who cares about the Series 2 stuff? That is the best card I pulled this month. I know I said I got a Frank Thomas printing plate, but anytime I get to add to the personal collection.
And what card is that?
And that is Bowman Sterling, I think 14, 13. Ryan Eads. He's my high school coach's son. So I have a jersey of his, and I practically have master set of different varying cards of his. Always looking to add any if you have any. I think it was in sets from like 2013, 2014, and maybe a 2015 or two.
Tim,
send them my way.
Tell them what we found?
Yeah, I was going to do that in a second when he was done.
Okay.
What did you find?
Well, hold on. Let me switch it back. I got a freeze frame on me now. So when we were down there, we thought of you when we were shopping together. And first there was a Shannon Stewart.
Hey, 2004.
Auto. Okay, and this is numbered 100 of 179.
Nice.
There was a Joe Mauer patch.
Manu patch, yeah.
Yep, Manu patch from 2013 Topps.
13.
There was this Leaf. Leaf Memories.
Nice. Plain base auto.
Right. Yep, nice. On card. And then this Putz. We found they were giving these away.
Hey,
center.
Ben brought it up earlier. The Tiffany version. I wish mine cost $5. I paid way more than that for my Topps Tiffany.
So I get some other stuff I'm saving up, but these will be coming to you shortly. But so you do have another mail day coming.
You know where my crack house is. Just send it on.
Yep. And lately I've been everybody knows I'm a giant Royals and George Brett collector, but living here in California since 1990, I had to pick a local team to root for, and I hated the A's. As a Royals fan. And so I became a Giants fan, and it always goes back. And so I have American League and a National League team, and some people don't understand, and it's fine. I get it. They played each other in the World Series, and in 2010 or 12, my best friend asked me, he goes, the Giants and the Royals ever play each other in the World Series? Who are you rooting for? I said, well, the Royals are never going to make it to a World Series, but that's fine. But I'm always going to go to the Royals. And then 2014, the Giants and the Royals are in the World Series, and they went to Game 7, and they actually won Game 6 on my birthday. It was a tough birthday. There were a lot, but they won Game 6. I was, blew them out, and then in 7. They had a chance until Mad Bum came in and shut them down. Ended up winning in 15, which is great. So I do collect the Giants. San Francisco Giants only because I don't have pocketbooks for the New York Giants. But I've been picking up a ton of Buster Posey relics and bat relics and jersey relics this last week. I think the 4th of July I bought. I'm glad my wife doesn't listen. 10 or 12 cards, but didn't spend more than $4 on any one of them. And it was pretty awesome. So as they were trickling in, I bought a stack of Posey Topps rookies and for a few bucks here and there. And so those are all coming in. So that's been really great on my mail days. And then obviously I got a little package from Bryn Becca of it was a stadium club that came, so everybody drink up again. But yeah, so that's what's coming recently. And then I went and bought a big stack of random stuff, some KU Kansas basketball autos, a bunch of Shaq rookies on a shopping spree this last Saturday for a couple of bucks. Hate the Lakers, Kings fan. But for whatever reason, Shaq rookie cards tickle my fancy. So whenever I find them for a buck or two, I think it's because when I was a kid, they were so expensive. I always throw them in, buy them, put them in the box, and hey, it's Shaq, and he's a big man, big diesel. So
part owner of the Sacramento Kings. So
he is, after he called us the Sacramento Queens and talked all that smack all those years. But you know what? We all's forgiven. It's all right. He's now a king. But
I've actually I forgot one. I added it to my wish list. So Panini a few years back were doing the college sets, which you were touching on, which is what made it click in my head. They did a Texas Longhorn set, which I live in Texas, but I'm not a fan. However, one of their long snappers shares the last name with me, and played with the Vikings for 2004 to 2014. His only issued card, because again, who wants a long snapper, was in that Texas Longhorn set. And I added it to my list and picked it up for like 10 cents.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Well, guys, we should probably wrap up tonight. Probably our shorter show, but we were trying to stay around an hour, and that's where we are just about. But remember, we're live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and review on YouTube and on iTunes. I know we're there as well. Stitcher was trying to work out, and we'll be soon on Google Play. Like always, you can follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're a little over 200 followers. You always follow Ben at R Trading Cards, OUR Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. And as always, you can follow me at Big Shep79 and also at BigShepsCards.com. Always has my checklist of what I'm working on and what I'm looking to add to my PC. And hopefully I will get some more time here in my life to be able to actually write and post some things there as well. But everyone, thank you tonight for joining in. I want to thank Ken Kinsley. He was chiming in tonight. Ginny Miller has been chiming in tonight. We do appreciate that as we grow our base. And we love it. We do this for fun. We do this for us. And if other people like to listen in and join in, even better. If you want to hear us talk about something, you want to know something about us, you want to chime in and share your stories, definitely contact us. We definitely have some plans for interviews for some certain guests to come on already, talk about some certain things, TTMs and selling, on eBay and those types of things. So, guys, we appreciate it. We love you all, and have a wonderful night.
Enjoy your weekends.
Good evening.
See you guys.